Hi, dear friends, cultural creatives, and imaginal selves everywhere. Bruce Lipton back. We have the November newsletter. November's a big month, you know, it's the election month, and by the time you actually hear this news report, that election is over. What's going to happen? Can't tell you right now. It's a toss-up. It all depends on whether my friends in the millennial generation decide to get up and vote, because it's the young people that can make a difference and all. I understand. The belief is, hey, what can you do about this mess that we're in? Governments are corrupt. Yeah, that's absolutely true. Governments are corrupt, especially our own government is corrupt. And the significance about that corruption is that it really enhances the 1% and their life and really lets everyone else down. I'm actually very much concerned, being an evolutionary biologist, and recognizing the fall that the United States is in right now, very perilous fall. Just think about this reality, that we cut off the water to 30 to 50,000 residents in Detroit because they couldn't afford a water bill. You go, okay, so what? They couldn't afford the bill? And I go, do you understand what this means? They can't get a drink of water out of the tap. They can't flush the toilet. They can't take a shower. Thank God the United Nations came, and the United Nations recognized that what is happening in the United States is a violation of human rights. Violation of human rights in the United States? Yeah, because something is going on here. Something is changing. And this something has to do with whether the population decides it's worth voting or not. And as I said, I can understand why you don't feel like voting. It seems to be fixed and rigged, and yes, it is, but there's a degree that we could fool them. If everybody in the young generation turned out, we would outvote those people in 1 minute and put a new world in. But it's happening. If it's not happening this election, there's more elections to come, and all of these are important because elections give us an opportunity to change leadership. I just come back from India with my lovely Margaret, and while in India, we were also involved with elections. Actually, there's a new prime minister, you probably already heard that, Narendra Modi. Modi was the minister of a state in India, and the states in India have populations that are amazing. So in one state where Modi was the minister, 60 million people live in one state. Well, what's interesting about that is that India government, just like our government and other governments elsewhere, is really basically a corrupt system paid for by money. The whole thing is this: in India, just like here, people have given up. It's like, oh, it's corrupt, that's just the way it is, let's live with it. But Modi was voted in, and what was interesting is Modi made a vow to clean up the mess, to clean up all the pollution inside the politics. And what was interesting is he actually cleaned up his government and got rid of almost all the corruption. It was so exciting for people in India that they offered him the position of prime minister, and guess what? In a landslide vote, Modi took the prime minister leadership of India. Why? Because his track record said that he can clean up the corruption and take care of the country. Well, what's also interesting about that is that in India, in the parliamentary system, the representatives are voted in by proportion of votes for each different party. Now, there's large numbers of parties, and every year, the large numbers of parties split up the vote, so there's just a whole bunch of small parties infighting with each other generally in the Indian government. But this year, with Modi running, something completely different happened. That Modi's party got the majority, that Modi and all of his followers were put into office by people looking for change. So it's not like the situation when Obama came into presidency of the United States where we were looking for hope and change. Well, obviously it didn't work out. Why? Well, one of the main reasons is the government wasn't supporting him. The House and the Senate didn't support the movement. But there's a different story in India. Modi is now supported by the people and the government. So it's a completely different story. There's a movement afoot to change India. You say, well, what's the significance of changing India? And the answer is this: there's over 1.3 billion citizens that live in one country. 1.3 billion citizens. And look, our country only has about 325 million. So India is quite a lot larger and quite influential on the world stage. The significance is this: Modi's coming in with a new vision, a new platform, and the opportunity to remove corruption. One of the biggest places he's involved with right now in his platform is to change agriculture in India. Agriculture in India, just like it is in the United States, has been really dominated by industrial farming. Industrial fertilizers and pesticides destroying the environment, as we know is happening here right now. Well, the relevance is Modi's come in with a new platform. He wants to get rid of the GMOs. He wants to make India an organic nation. And the significance is because the world is actually moving toward organic farming. The United States is still caught up with industrial farming and GMOs, but the rest of the world is actually rebelling against the nature of GMOs. And so India is taking the leadership. And it was wonderful for Margaret and I to be there for a very important reason. Because our connection with Organic India, Bharat Mitra and Bhavani Lev, the founders of Organic India, who bring us to India every year, have brought Margaret and myself along with 3 scientists that are involved with genetic engineering and GMOs with insights into the nature of the dangers of growing GMOs, the negative impact on the environment, and the nature of how the whole system of life is being altered through the chemistry farming that industrial farming promotes. Relevance is that through the connection with Organic India, we were just 1 degree away from Narendra Modi. We actually met with his cabinet members. So we met with the Minister of the Environment, the Minister of Agriculture, and the Minister of Water. And the significance is we gave them a scientific foundation for the nature of going organic. Well, let me just add something very important to the concept of organic. When we talk about organic, what we're really talking about is, growing food without the conventional chemistry and the pesticides. Yeah, well, that is part of what the new agriculture is all about, but it's not complete. The new agriculture is more than just chemistry, it's environment. How the farming influences the insect world, how the farming affects the microbial world, how the farming affects the animals and the environment, how the farming affects the farmer themselves and the family and the community. So farming isn't just to put a seed in and grow a crop. Farming is an industry that keeps India alive. And in fact, they have 500 million farmers in one country. And the significance by Modi's platform is to make the whole country go organic and GMO free. So given this opportunity, we met scientists, including myself, met with the cabinet members and started to lay down a foundation of how you can increase production, increase profit, and increase the welfare of the entire country by using what is called biodynamic farming. And in contrast to organic, we actually are proposing a new understanding of farming, and it's called agroecology. Agroecology is more than just the nature of the chemicals used to grow food. Agroecology is the nature of systems, the systems of insects, the systems of animals, the systems of people and communities, all active around a farm. So we were providing the government of India at the very top leadership new insights on how to create an organic world, a healthy world, a world where farming sustains not just the people who eat the food, but sustains the soil, sustains the organisms in the environment, and sustains the community. And why is this relevant? Because India will be a leader in the new world. And if India goes biodynamic and organic, it will be a sign for the rest of the world that this is the movement that we're going into. And this is required right now because we have so much understanding the kind of information we provided to the government about the dangers of GMOs, about the dangers of the chemistry used to kill the weeds and the other things in GMO fields. We're not just adding the Roundup version now, because DuPont just created a new GMO plant that survives being sprayed with Agent Orange. So the idea is you can grow crops free of contamination by insects by spraying the fields with Agent Orange and eliminating all the competitor plants in the field. Okay, more damage, more Roundup, more Agent Orange. These things do not go away from the soil. They're contaminating American farming so much that world markets are actually declining and buying American produce. And we got stuck this year with a massive amount of corn because China, Russia, and other countries have found that American corn is polluted with GMO corn, and these countries are anti-GMO. So guess what? Billions of dollars of corn produced by the United States are now rotting because other countries will not buy it. And how come we're the ones that are so readily involved with taking in these GMO foods and using them? Is there any connection between GMOs and Americans becoming less intelligent and more lethargic? And the answer is scientifically yes. We have to get rid of the industrial farming, which is polluting not just our own biologies, but polluting Mother Earth as well. And so I feel very, very satisfied and excited by the opportunity of being in India and dealing directly with the Modi government to offer an opportunity for change that will also affect the change around the entire world. And this for me is evolution in action, spontaneous evolution in process. And I hope that when you get this newsletter that we see some changes that will benefit the American population as a result of its elections as well. And if it doesn't, don't give up, because the whole idea is a fall of the system is actually what encourages the rise of something new and better. And this is what is required for evolution. So if it doesn't look that good, hey, it's good news anyway, because it means we're on the threshold of change. And in that regard, I want to thank you for being out there, because you people are the cultural creatives seeking a new insight, a new understanding of the world, because it's your vision and your participation, your being in action, that will make the difference. And I hope to see you out there on the fields, because this is a time for all of us to change our world and start to thrive into a world where health and beauty and all the other aspects of heaven on earth are made manifest for all.